Good evening. Not sure if you saw my post about 45 minutes ago or so. We were celebrating my brother's birthday, so I was at my mom's, and now we are home. Alrighty, we are going to get started. Tonight we are making a card called a floating tent fold card. So the supplies that you're going to need will be a base, and that measures, hi Marilyn, it measures 4 1/8 by 11 1/2. That does not make sense. Let's just double check that. Let's go here. Oh yeah, it is 11 1/2, and it is scored at 5 3/4. So let's start gathering our materials. So that base, again, it is going to be 4 1/8. So 1/8 is going to be that. So here's your 4, then you have a 16th, and then you have the 1/8. Or 2/16. So that is the beginning. Hi, Patty. So you're going to cut that first, and then you're going, so I had to use a piece of 12 by 12 paper is what essentially you're going to do. And then you're going to cut that 1/2 inch off so that it is now 11 inches, or 11 1/2 inches, I'm sorry. And then we're going to score at 5 3/4. You will be scoring. This is going to be the base of our card, okay? The next thing that we're going to need is you will need die cuts, and I will be using textured notes. You are going to need one piece of paper that is 1 1/2 by 2 3/4. So 1 1/2 by 2 3/4. And then we are going to score this at 3/4 of an inch. So this little piece gets scored at 3/4. I should probably write that on our piece here. Score 3/4. So that little piece is scored at 3/4. Next, you are going to want a piece that was 4 by 4 1/8. And we're going to do some scoring on this as well. And of course, I didn't write down the score lines, so we're going to score it together. So you are going to put this in your trimmer so that the top is at 4 inch. Your 4 1/8 is what's going on the long side. The first score line is 1/2 of an inch. And I'm going to write these down right now as we do them. So 1/2 an inch. Now I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to start working across my paper this way. So the next score line is going to be 1 1/4. 1 1/4 is our next score line. So it was 1/2, 1 1/4, and I'm going to write right up here, score. So we're going to write it and do it at the same time. Our next score line is going to be at the 2 inch line. So 2, so 1/2, 1 1/4, 2. Next will be at 2 1/2. Oh, 2 1/2. Let's write the right number. And then we have one more score line, and that is going to be at 3.5. And I will go over those again. 3.5. Okay, so the first score line was 1/2. The second score line is 1 1/4. The third score line is at 2. And then you're going to go to 2 and 3/4. 2 3/4. I thought something was looking a little weird. 2 3/4. Because it's a 3/4 of an inch per each section. And then the last score line is 3.5. And we're going to be, this is what's going to give us the accordion fold that we need for the tent. Hi, Arlene. Then we have 2 pieces of pattern paper that measure 3 7/8 by 5.5. And this is what we're going to be cutting in a moment also. So I'm going to take the trimmer off. And I will, oh, Lori and Jeannie are here too. Excellent. Okay, I'm just going to set this here because it has those score lines for you. I'm going to bring in the sample so that you can kind of see where this is going to go. So it's going to sit like that. I'm going to turn it this way now so that you can see. This is the tent piece that will go on the inside of our card. And then this was that little piece that we just zigzagged. All right, and then it just sits like a tent. So you're going to decide which one of these you want. I don't know why I did 2 pieces. That's weird. You choose your favorite. I don't think it's on the back side. It isn't, but you could. You could always put it on the back side so that you could put your sentiment there. I think that's what we'll do. All right, so let's kind of get ourselves started here. So we'll go over a few things again because a couple people are just hopping in. So let's go over our base. This is our base. And that measured 4 1/8 by 11.5. And you're scoring at 5 3/4. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to open this up. I'm not going to adhere it there. I'm just going to decide which one I like better. I think I like this one better. So I am going to get out my die. So if we bring our sample back in, this part here was cut with one of these rectangle dies. I should have watched the video, but I didn't. Okay, I know what we're doing. We're good. We're good. We've got this. All right, we are going to adhere what we want as our front. So you're going to put it on. Make sure you give it a good spot in the center as well, because we'll be cutting this and then it'll fall out. So I'm going to position this in the center of my card. I am using my new glass mat. Kind of excited. All right, we are going to put our frame next. You can use any shape. It's better if it has a straight top. So if you did like an arch, you would put the flat edge at the top as opposed to it being at the bottom. So I'm just gonna kind of eyeball to make sure that this is centered, and I am going to put a piece of washi tape on that. so it does not move. And of course, my tape is the same color as my paper. I am going to put it into my die cutting machine. And I'm going to run it through the die cut machine. I probably should have ran it twice. It's okay. I will just use my scissors. Oh my goodness, I am like all thumbs today. I guess that's what happens when you don't sleep at night. I just have to, there we go. Okay, now it's free. Whew, there we go. And I think I am going to put this other piece on the back. I was ready to ask, where's my adhesive? Because this is right where I would put my sentiment and my signature for the card. Okay, so far this is what we have. So we have that cut out. This piece is going to go here in a moment. Let's bring in the piece that we had that is 1.5 by 2 3/4. You're going to score that at 3/4 of an inch. So I'll let you do that now. And what we're going to do is we're going to close it, and we're going to attach this piece to it just like so. So I'm going to put my adhesive here, and I'm going to be kind of generous just because it is a moving part. So I'm going to put it right up to the top. And then it would flip like that. Okay, so that's right where we are so far. We're not adhering that anywhere yet, but it will be going in here shortly. Next, you will take your piece that was 4 by 4 1/8 into your paper trimmer, and you're going to do 5 score lines. So this edge here is that 4 1/8. The top is the 4. So you're going to score at 1/2, 1 1/4, 2, 2 3/4, and then 3 1/2. So it's basically, it's like 3/4 of an inch in between each. So I'll go over those numbers one more time with you. So the top of your paper is the 4 inch. That's at the top of your trimmer or your scoreboard. You will score at 1/2, so 1/2 of an inch. 1 1/4, 2, 2 3/4, and then 3 1/2. So you're making those score lines. Then we will fold it as an accordion, and those tiny halves should be on these outer edges. So it'll look like It'll be an upside down V into a W, back to an upside down V. I will set it like that for you for a moment. We were at my mom's for my brother's birthday tonight. And of course, my mom made homemade spaghetti sauce, homemade meatballs, and then a cake. And my brother's family was all over. So it was nice. It was super fun hanging out. All right, so now we're going to do our next part. And our next part is actually going to be to adhere this mechanism. You are going to want score tape or something a little more solid in order to make it stick. And I am going to grab some score tape because I don't have any on my table. And we're going to put the score tape on this outer edge and this outer edge, which are those 2 1/2-inch pieces. I guess I could have done a thicker piece. And my niece helped me do my mom's fall tray in her TV room and a couple other decorations. Okay, so we have our score tape there and our score tape there. So let's peel one side at a time. Okay, so this edge, we are going to put it down here at the bottom. So I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to put it right at the bottom of the card, just like that. And then I'm going to accordion fold all of it, and this is going to go here. And I know it looks kind of wonky, or did I just do it upside down? Let me just double check. Oh no, I'm right. Because once it's in, it should stay. I think we're doing it right. See, that's the problem with pre-planning all my stuff so far out in advance. I forget what I'm doing. This is kind of one that you would not be putting in an envelope. It's not very, very mailable. Okay, so far we've got it going the right way. Now we need to put this piece in here. So I'm going to put a little more score tape on this. So this is on the back of that little flap that we just made. And my neighbors are being loud. So I'm going to gently place this back inside, and you're going to probably need to do a little wiggle so that you can get it to fit. So I'm going to hold it till it's back in its position, just like that. And now I'm going to press. And now that piece is in there, and it's that little tent foldy piece for us. So that's how it's looking so far. And now comes my favorite part, the decorating part. So I thought, I don't know if this is gonna fit. No, that's a little too big. All right, I think that one's too big too. Let's go with I don't know what shape I want to do. Oh, I kind of like, oh, that's too big. All right, we're going to go with this one. Let's go with this shape. Oh, that would look really pretty right there. Yes, that I'm liking. And this I might use on the back. So those are the foiled frames and labels ephemera pack. And now this came from a card kit. So I was like, I'm not using it as a card kit. I want to use it as like ephemera pieces. And I'm going to bring my chair back in so I can sit, because I cannot stand any longer. All right, let's now find some fun things to embellish. Nope, that's too green. We need something that's not as green. Ooh, let's see. Well, that's kind of pretty. And these were all in the card kit. And I was just like, we're not using it as a card kit. I'm using it as my own kind of a card kit. Oh, I like that butterfly there. That's pretty. Ooh, let's see how that one is. Oh, that's not bad either, but I like the yellow. I felt these were just so pretty and unique, and they would be great as ephemera pieces on other things, not just, I mean, look how gorgeous that piece is. That would be lovely. It's just then you don't really see the real pretty die cut that I had used. All right, I think I kind of like what I've pulled out, so let's start with that. So first off, I am going to put this on. Oh, now I need my liquid glue. I was working earlier on the next paper pumpkin class. So I have 2 cards complete. Card number 3 is in the works. So I'm hoping when I get home from work tomorrow to sit down and do a little bit more. You know, that work thing really gets in my way. All right, I'm gonna position that there. Just that little bit of gold. Now I don't know if I want all of these flowers. I don't think so. Let's try just this one. Oh, see, now that I like. All right, so we're not going to use those. We're going to put that there. And I think this, I'm going to put, since I know this card I would not be putting into an envelope, it'd be more like I'd put this into a gift bag and just leave it as is. I'm going to let that butterfly kind of fly off. Or no, I kind of like, I like it up here. I really do. I think that looks so pretty. So let's add a little bit of liquid here, here, and here. Right there. And this, we can definitely add a little bit of foam to it. So let's add some dimension to this. I hope everyone's had a nice, enjoyable weekend. The weekends go by so fast. I really wish they would slow down just a bit. Okay, let's peel our backing off of these. Yeah, why do the weekends go by so fast, but yet the work week takes forever to get through those 5 days? Okay, we're going to place this right there in the center. Lovely. I pulled in some ribbon because I thought that would be really pretty just to make like a little bow maybe. Now I like to do my bows while it's still all on my ribbon or on my spool. So I have less waste. And I do bunny ear, swoop it through the hole. Just like that. And now we're going to cut this edge. This is the lint ribbon. That's what it's called, lint. And it is from Stampin' Up. White. I'm going to cut this tail a little shorter and on an angle. Same thing with this side. And let's use a glue dot. However, my glue dots have magically disappeared now. Oh my goodness. All right, I'll use a different kind of glue dot. And I thought that would look real pretty right there to kind of finish off. Oh, that looks so pretty. And then we can put this back here, and then I can do my little sentiment right there. Or I can just, you know what, let's put it, we're going to go this way so that the sentiment could go there, and then I can sign below. So that is the back. Here is our front, and then that piece. So it basically, it swings. I don't know if you can tell, but that piece is going to swing as it's open back and forth, like a little tent. And that is our card for tonight. Now next week we will be doing a 2-page layout, and the theme that I'm using for my photos are from the Shikuli Gardens in Seattle. So those will be the pictures I'll be using next Sunday for Sunday Fun Day. We'll be doing a 2-page spread, and I've actually pulled in some more of both of these ephemera packs to use as my embellishments on that layout. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. And I'm hoping to be able to start the designing process of October through December's Sunday Fun Days. So if there's something that you would like to learn how to do, post it in the comments or tag me or something, just so that I can see what you're thinking and what you would like to see, because that's what makes the learning better, when we're all in it together and we're learning the same things that we really, really want to learn how to use or do. If there's a product, you're like, hey, how do you use such and such? Let me know, because then I could see if I have it. And if I do, then I can go from there and learn how to use it right along with you. Remember, this video and last week's video will be moved over to YouTube. I may do that shortly. If not, I will be hopefully doing it tomorrow when I get home from work. It's been quite the busy week. So have a great evening. Thanks for coming on a little bit later than we normally do. And I hope you enjoyed tonight's class. If you did do the class with me, please post your pictures so that we can see your creation. And I look forward to seeing you next Sunday for Sunday Fun Day. Good night.